shit. What's up, everybody? They should have never showed me how to do this live stream shit. Because I'm going to be live streaming like a motherfucker when I don't have to go to the fucking office. I could be here chilling in the confines of whatever crib I want to be in, just doing live streams. I'm woke. Yeah, my eyes be looking sleepy and shit. I got bags under my eyes because I don't motherfucking sleep. All I do is work. Hold on 1 second. I got to mute this. Okay. And I am Doggie Diamonds. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to the chat room has got, a few people in there already. I'm here with brother Malik. Malik, speak to them.
Peace.
Yeah, Malik, your shit look all crazy and shit. But hey, we here with brother Malik. He's on his phone. we had a something that we wanted to talk about. We got an interview dropping that we did in the office that's coming out soon. But we have an interview that's it's not really a full podcast, but it's a little something, but it's coming out soon. But what we want to talk about today, I be seeing a lot of people be dissing Malik, be saying you a fucking cracker, you white, you Spanish, you can't talk for black people and all that shit. So I wanted to ask the homie, how do you feel when people call you that? Because you've never ever denied your African roots and you actually speak up for African people from a Latino point of view. How do you feel about people saying that you're not even black? So what the fuck you talking about?
Look at the state of the so-called conscious community.
Say that again, because you broke up a little bit.
I said, just look at the state of the so-called conscious community.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no, there's no understanding with a lot of things. It's all over the place. It's discombobulated information.
Where do you think you kind of call some of this shit though? People were calling you a hater, they were calling you an agent, they was calling you all types of shit. But a lot of things that you were saying about a lot of people, that shit's starting to come out right now, and you starting to look like a motherfucking prophet about some people. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I think prophets, for me, it's a little far-fetched, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I think what it is people just have poor observation skills. And it's just a thing of, riding the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Because everybody's.
Yeah, I wanted to see to the people. Can y'all hear him well? Can y'all see him well? Is he lagging? Yeah, they're saying you're breaking up pretty badly. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you just on your phone?
On my phone.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. They're saying it's breaking up pretty badly and they can't really hear you like when you talk. It's breaking up.
Is that better?
Go ahead, say something. Say something.
Something.
I think it's a little bit better, but we're gonna keep talking. And hopefully it straightens out a little bit. So say what you said again.
No, I think that people a lot of times have poor observation skills and they just want to ride the bandwagon. Or they just go with things that look good, that appear to be good. But the whole problem is lack of sincerity, lack of being genuine. The intentions is wrong. It's a egotistical thing. It's arrogance. So I don't hold my tongue. I don't go with something just because everybody's feeling this person is feeling that thing or whatever. Like, nah, I just if I see bullshit, that's just what it is.
So also, you get accused that you're not black. So who the fuck are you to speak up for people? I even got told recently that I wasn't black, and I was like, word. So I like for you to tell me who my mama and daddy is. Maybe maybe you know something about me that I don't know, because according to my mama and daddy, I'm black as a motherfucker, and my father was black as hell. My mother was black. But I think black people are so lost right now. They blame a lot of things, and they talk about complexion a lot, and that's what's separating us also, the light skin and black thing, the light skin, dark skin thing. But I've seen comments where they were saying you're not black. So who are you to speak on certain things? And you're actually Cuban, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say to them people who say you're not black?
They ignorant.
Plain and simple, right?
Well, it boils down to they ignorant, and these are all ramifications of slavery, and people be indoctrinated, and people just, basing a lot of things off of emotional, rational thinking. And any group that comes up, whether it's the Moors, whether it's Marcus Garvey, or the UNIA, Nation of Islam, the Nation of Gods of Earth, the Nuwapians, the Hebrew Israelites, the Black Panthers, or the New Black Panther Party, any of these groups has been a part of and was allowed to be a part of.
Yeah, and
so when people say that,
go ahead.
So when people say that, I'm just like, yo, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you really don't know nothing. And this, to be honest, is something I've only really experienced since 2014. Prior to 2014, I never had people saying things, and a lot of this stemmed from, to be honest with you, a video that I did with Sonetta called, and our brother Roy Bay was in the video. It's called "Do We Have a Right to Judge Dr. York?" That was the start of it. I started saying things about Dr. York, Dwight York, because he's not a doctor. Once I started saying things about Dwight York, this is when coming. And then it was just people who claim that they represent RBG that, think that one has to fit some type of particular physical characteristic, and again, this is all just based off ignorance.
Yeah. So, but what about some of the people that are black as a motherfucker, blacker than me, blacker than this hat, that are Dominican, that are Cuban, that are Puerto Rican, that are these things, and they say I'm not black, I'm not, I'm not African. They will, I've asked some Puerto Rican people who have told me they're white, and I'm like, but look at yourself, like you're not white, you have African features, everything about you is African. What about the people who deny that they are African? Where do you think that comes from?
Ramifications of slavery, a mental, a slave mentality, and indoctrination, that just went through of the families, not wanting to be associated with a particular group. I mean, it's the Inquisition and the African slave trade has a lot of things in common. And so the thing that, very similar off the top of my head is both were given slave names, both were given a slave privilege, and both were given a slave religion. So, and it's a tactic of capitalism, white supremacy to divide and conquer the people. So even if you go to the so-called Latino community and you mistaken a Puerto Rican for a Dominican, 9 times out of 10, they're usually going to get offended, and they're going to speak ill of Dominicans. And Dominicans are not going to like Puerto Ricans, and this group's not going to like that group, and Jamaicans not going to like Haitian, and Haitians not going to like Jamaican, and Liberians aren't going to like Nigerians. So all of this has something at the root of it that has there's a commonality, and what the commonality is capitalism, white supremacy, people that were enslaved, people that were taken out of their right frame of mind, indoctrinated.
So my thing
very
is
simple.
No, it's very, very simple, but the simplest things are not always that simple when people can't embrace it and grasp it. Because we're in an information age where I think that motherfuckers know this shit. Why is everybody still so damn stupid? I'm confused. Like,
why
Dominicans and Haitians don't like each other. We're on the same fucking island. There is no Haiti and there is no Dominican Republic. It's one fucking landmass. Like, I'm confused. But
well,
if you look at go ahead.
Like you had asked me earlier about when we were talking, you were like, how should I, label this Latino or Hispanic? And I told you it really don't matter because they're both colonized names. So the Hispanic comes from when the island was called Hispaniola by the Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Latino is something, again, that came about. It's sort of like saying colored, African American, Afro American. These are names that were given. The people was called. This is what the people identify with. And so if you say Latino, that's really wrong because you're denoting Latin. So Spanish is rooted in Latin. Portuguese is rooted in Latin. French is rooted in Latin. Italian is rooted in Latin. Or countries, European countries. Those are Latinos. Those are Latin people.
Okay.
French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian.
Mm-hmm.
So they impose this name on South America and the Caribbean and say Latino nations. So then if you say you're Spanish are people that's from Spain, the Spaniards. So like countries in Africa where they speak their native dialect, but they also have a colonized language they speak as well. It could be English, it could be French, it could be Portuguese, in some cases Spanish. Does that mean that somebody from Sierra Leone is French? But yet there are people from Sierra Leone that will call themselves Frenchmen. I've met Liberians that will call themselves an Englishman. So this is just how powerful white supremacy capitalism is that people were indoctrinated, and the root of it, they were taught to hate themselves. So this division that you see so-called Latinos do, the root of it is self-hatred.
Could you explain to me, besides the past theatrics that we've seen in the past couple of days, this word, besides the fucking WWF shit, and I ain't picking nobody's side because I ain't got no motherfucking alliance to nobody. I got alliance to everybody. Besides that what we've seen in the past couple of days, I found that Dominicans, Puerto Ricans say nigga more than black people. They just say nigga, 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 nigga. They say nigga so much, and I'm like, hold up. Y'all want to use the word nigga, but you don't want to acknowledge your African ancestry, which they call Africans niggas, but you want to use the word nigga, but you don't want to be a nigga. Why do you think that they use that word so motherfucking much?
Ignorant hypocrites. And it's a thing also because I'm not going to say hip hop, but I'll say that.
No, that's a blame somewhat.
No, I was going to say that in the element of rap, and because the industry has basically whitewashed it, it's something that rap music has projected out to the people in their lyrics. I really believe that. I really believe that most of everybody who's saying this is because of music. Music is very powerful and influential. That nobody wasn't using that term before. I mean, you could look at Richard Pryor, but then also came a point in Richard Pryor's life that he stopped using that word.
He said he's not using it after he came back from a trip from Africa.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a case of monkey see, monkey do. You know, where you live at. Oh, you know, they're saying it. I'm going to say. I personally, I don't think nobody should say it. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I'm working on it.
I mean, you know what I mean. You don't see people. Yo, what up, Spit?
Yeah.
What up, Goop?
Yeah, what up?
What up, Cracker?
No,
what up,
listen, because if you say what up, Kike, or you say something about them Jews, your ass is out. You could forget about it. I think nigga is the and I built on this maybe when I first started this YouTube channel. Nigga is the only derogatory word based on a group of people that is accepted, and it just so happened that it's accepted at the expense of black men, women, and children. You do not. Nobody else. See, because I be saying shit like goop. I be saying shit like spick. I say shit like that because I'm fucking, I don't give a fuck. But when I say that, people look at me like, why you call them a gook? I'm like, for the same reason why you just call me a fucking nigga. It's a derogatory word that you're using and it's not a good word. So why when I address them with this word, everybody's all up in arms and shit like that? If I could be a fucking nigga, you could be a fucking gook. You could be a fucking spick. You could be a fucking wetback. You could be all those fucking things. If you want to call me something out of my name, then hey, you could be something that's out of your name. I could say some derogatory shit because I know some people who get mad at motherfucking Hispanic. They don't like to be called Hispanics. Some people don't like to be called Spanish. It's different variables that upset people, and I'm working on nigga. I'm working on it, but I've been indoctrinated to say nigga so long. And like I said, due to the shit show we saw in the past couple of days, I didn't know, listen, these dudes say nigga so much. I didn't know if I was at a motherfucking KKK rally, a rap concert, or motherfucking the conscious community. I ain't know where the fuck I was at. Because I done heard dudes say nigga more than I seen KKK shows. I done heard nigga more than I seen motherfucking than the NWA album. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? So okay, so let's build on this. Do we admit that there is some white Cubans? You gotta take your shit off mute.
Can you say that again? Because the phone was messed up or whatever.
Will we admit that there is some white Cubans, there is some white Puerto Ricans, there are fucking white Jamaicans? Do we admit that? You on mute.
You said that there's no that. Did you say that Puerto Ricans are white?
No, I said let's admit that there are some white Puerto Ricans, there are some white Cubans, there are some white. Yeah. But
these are people that these are people that not even like decades. I mean, that they may have migrated from different European countries to, like, you look in Argentina, there's a lot of Italians, Sicilians. In Brazil, there's a lot of Germans. And you have Spanish, you have Portuguese. And then so you get people that come from those areas and they've never mixed in with indigenous or African people, or the people that were indigenous and African, or the people that were European, indigenous, and African mixed. They've kept a bloodline straight up white. So that is factual. I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of so-called Latinos that are Jewish. You know, Goya is owned, I believe, by Puerto Rican Hasidics.
Wow.
You know, there was Jews. There probably still are Jews in Cuba. Sammy, the Jewish mafia, the Italian mafia was in Cuba. So, yeah, there are individuals that are straight up European. Straight up European. They just happen to reside in that country. Like in Peru. Peru has a large Japanese population.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you look at Peruvians look Japanese. You know, they could be mixed with Japanese, or maybe it's just because, you know, Peruvians are indigenous, they're Indian. They just have resemblance in some ways to Asians. But yeah.
So
I mean, there's white people in South Africa.
Facts. They're called Afrikaners.
Exactly.
And fuck them as a staff, record label, and a crew. Fuck the De Beers. Fuck them all. I don't fuck with none of them. So if somebody were Cuban, if somebody were Dominican, if somebody were Puerto Rican, and they wanted to know a little bit more about their African history and their African roots, where do you suggest that they start reading? Because I don't know if it's too many books of literature out there that they can read. You know, we as African Americans in America, there's books teaching us that, well, you come from here, you come from there, your ancestry come from there. Where could the people, because I keep trying to tell people, all of them was just the first stop on the boat. You know, it's not, y'all was just the first stop on the boat from Africa. Stop acting like y'all was the last stop. Y'all was the first stop. Y'all was the first stop on the train. Where could they learn a little bit more about the African history?
There is, I mean, there's an abundance, from people who are quote unquote Latino historians to white historians to black historians. When you just read about the basic history of the countries or the islands, you know, and you start with the history of the Inquisition, you know, reading about the Inquisition, well, eventually the African slave trade is going to come into play in that history. If you're somebody that you don't like to read, I don't know, take a walk, go in your hood, go to the local botanica. Go to a botanica, sit and talk to a priest or a priestess or a babalao. Don't mean that you got to join it or want to join it, but there's history there to learn. Why did the traditions of Ifa come to Cuba and then later become known as coin phrase Santeria? Why is Santeria practiced in Puerto Rico? Why is Palo Mayombe practiced in Cuba? Why is in Dominican Republic they have their spiritualism called the 21 divisions? Why is it practiced in Brazil? The proof in the pudding of Africa, blood of running through the blood of our people, the drum, the traditions of the spiritual systems, how similar in some ways Taino, Boricua, Carib, Arawak spirituality is to African spirituality. The food.
Yeah.
Eat food from Cuban food, Puerto Rican food, Dominican food, and then go eat some food, some Nigerian food, Liberian food, Ghanese food, like just West African food. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of similarities, and what it is just people are indoctrinated, and people want to stay ignorant, and you know, I also blame it too on the prison system.
Because how jail that shit is divided. Yeah.
Hey, if you look in prison or jail, this group got to be with this group, and that group got to be with that group, and that group got to be with that group, and then you take it to the streets. This section is this, and that section is that, and this group rides with this group. It's very much just indoctrinate all the way around. This is capitalism, white supremacy. You know, this is the thing, in my opinion, that should be really addressed conscious community.
Yeah.
I think, you know, things like Metanetta and all that, I think it's prevalent. I think it's important. I think it is relevant. I think it does tie in ways of liberating the people, because then it's a thing of wanting to learn about your history and learn about.
All right, Malik, I'm gonna stop you. You. Whether the Metanetta was deciphered or not, don't fucking matter. This is Doggie Diamonds talking. Because until somebody could tell me whether the Metanetta being deciphered or not can stop police brutality, can stop gentrification, can stop fucking drugs being pumped in our community, until somebody could make that correlation to what the fuck is going on right now, then I will say it matters. If you can't make that correlation between what we're going through right now, then I don't want to hear shit. So it don't matter, not to me. I don't give a fuck how nobody else feel. I think that that's just a debate that dudes want to have. But listen, we going through some real shit right now, and people arguing motherfucking dumb shit that's not conducive to what the fuck is going on right now. I don't want to hear that shit. Straight up and down. I went there because I love all the brothers there, and I wanted to show love and unity amongst the people. But I don't give a fuck about these frivolous ass motherfucking debates that don't got nothing to do, shit to do with how are we gonna fight the system of white supremacy. Is that in the Metanetta? How to fight the system of white supremacy? If it's in there, then read that shit and show it to us. Other than that, stop talking about stupid shit. Go ahead, Malik. I'm back.
No, what I'm saying is that, like when Khalid Muhammad, he has said, have you forgotten that once we were brought here, we were robbed of our names, we were robbed of our religion, our language, our culture, our God, and many of us, by the way we act, we even lost our minds.
Damn right.
What I'm saying is that learning these aspects of history can build a self-esteem in an individual to want to be a better individual.
Agreed.
And therefore, by being a better individual, you're going to want to do better in your community. I'm not saying that, I totally agree that whether the Metanetta was deciphered or not, that is not going to be what's going to stop drugs in the community, is what's going to stop homelessness in the community and gangbanging and all that. I totally agree with you on that. I absolutely agree with you on that. But I think those aspects of learning about those things, I mean, I'll use myself as an example. It was learning about things, historical things of iniquity, made me change my ways. Because I said to myself, well, if this is what my ancestors were upon and they accomplished and achieved all these things, I'm doing a disservice to them. I'm doing a disservice to my people. I would rather want to emulate or strive to emulate what they were on and what they were about. But yeah, I totally, I totally agree with you. There are things that at the end of the day, at the end of those debates, one, nobody has switched their ideology.
Yeah, it did. That's what I'm saying.
Still believes
that's what I'm saying. It's no clear-cut winner, because this is what I'm saying about all of that, right? And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I understand why they're doing it. I love our history. I love African history. I love all history. We have to be studiers of all history, because if we don't know their history, we don't know how they was able to conquer and fuck us up in our history. So I'm in agreement with all of that. But what I'm saying is that we face challenges today. If we're going to dig into history, history showed us one of the biggest challenges that we face was by fucking with white people and letting them come into our shit and fucking our shit up. So we have to figure out, okay, how do we stop fucking with these motherfuckers, and how do we stop being fucking dependent on them for certain shit? And how do we stop letting them trick us into believing that we should hate one another based on who's blacker, whose complexion is blacker, who complexion is not light enough, who has money, who has this, who has that? Until we can decipher that, because regardless of what, understanding is the best part of everything. No matter what we're shown in history, how you understand it and how I understand it is different. So you have brothers who say the metanoia has not been deciphered. You have brothers who say the metanoia has been deciphered. Okay, so if it hasn't or it has, let's say it hasn't, what the fuck that got to do with anything? Let's say it has. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Is that going to stop them from pushing us out of our neighborhoods? Is that going to stop them of how they pump drugs? Is that going to help us get rid of these fucking GMOs, Monsanto? Is it going to stop us from effeminating the black men for pushing these stud women in front? What is going to stop that? That should be the first order operation, because that's what we're dealing with right now as a people. So we can't be going back dealing with our ancestors dealt with 4,000 years ago if it's not something in conjunction to what we're going through right now. I understand the dialogue. I like the dialogue, but the way the dialogue shifted the whole community to where we forgot that, hold on, ain't Donald Trump about to be president and start fucking us around? Ain't Hillary Clinton was almost president to start fucking us around? Why isn't Obama pardoning some of our political prisoners? Why is Mutulu Shakur still in jail? Why is Assad still on the run? That's what the fuck we should be talking about. Why is Mumia or Abu Jamal still in jail? Why are we talking about all this shit that has nothing to do with what we're going through in 2016? Until we can start talking about that shit, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I just be listening. And then look what happened. All that shit turned into a shit show. You know why it was a shit show? Because the spirit of our ancestors was telling us, what the fuck are y'all talking about this shit for anyway? That's what I believe. What you say, Malik?
These topics are not going to be popular topics or concerns with the masses, because we're talking about, you know, for lack of better words, we're talking about the 85%.
Yeah.
The dumb, deaf, and blind that follow the teachings of the 10%. You know, so there's gonna be that small percentage, that 5%, that's gonna be about that, you know, and that's just how it's always been. That's how it's always gonna be, you know. And you know, there needs to be more platforms where subjects are attacked and these subjects are brought up, and people are more educated on it. Because I really, and to be honest with you, I personally think that those are probably way more very important topics than anything that I've seen, because opening the door to reality. You're opening the door to something that's tangible that can happen to anybody. You know, like when I used to do security for the MOVE movement, I would hear people say, "Oh man, all y'all do is talk about Mumia." It's like, man, what happened to Mumia can happen to any of us.
Yes, yes.
So if I was in Mumia's shoes, I want what's being done with how, you know, people are dealing with the Mumia situation. I would want that for me.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, why did on May 13th, 1985, why did the Philadelphia police
bomb a block? A block.
A block.
Not a house, a fucking
people
block.
You know what I mean? See, that's the thing what kills me, you know, especially when, and I'm going to bring him up, and, Prince York.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
When Prince York has stated to me, when the microphone was taken from me and I wasn't able to respond, he has said, you know, basically, what are you bringing to the table? What are you saying is the answers? Well, you know, when you look at history and you look at real people that are political prisoners and freedom fighters and revolutionaries that were about that cause, not charlatans, not home wrecking pedophile homosexuals, but real freedom fighters.
Mm-hmm.
That should open the door, and questions should be asked. Sula Shakur, all that brother wanted is he wanted equality. At the end of the day, all he wanted was equality. And because he represented a particular or movement, and because he was labeled as radical, this man is sitting in there with like what 35 years with diabetes. You know, he's not doing too well. You know, sitting in there. This guy was a renowned journalist who received awards. You know why? He got picked on because he was the Minister of Information at 15 years old for the Black Panther Party in North Philly. And because he then became aligned with the MOVE movement, and the MOVE movement was against and still is against white supremacy capitalism in a police state. You know, these are the things, in my opinion, that are practical and should be looked at and really put more effort into wanting to fight. You know, people want to sit and talk about unity all day long. And I was listening to Sister Zaza Ali. I love that sister, man. And what she said is facts. Happen with everybody. I don't want to be unified with pedophiles. I don't want to be unified with homosexuals. I don't want to be aligned with charlatans. I don't want to be aligned with people who endorse and support and condone and justify or movements like that. How is that Black power?
Yeah,
that's not Black power. That's an oxymoron.
Yeah,
so
utopia,
this romanticized thinking that a lot of people have needs to really wake up. Unity needs to happen, but unity is not going to happen with all people.
No, I'm in. I mean, I'm not, me personally, I ain't with all this kumbaya shit. You know what I'm saying? There's some motherfuckers that I just ain't fucking with because they just move funny. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, something about you. And I'm a reader of a person's aura and a person's spirits. And some people don't sit right with me. And it's like, not because of, you know, certain shit. It's just like, yo, at the end of the day, you just into some shit that I ain't into. You know what I'm saying? You just about some shit that I'm not into. Like me personally, everybody knows Doggie Diamonds doesn't indulge in white women. I don't fuck with white women. So when I see brothers who's, you know, sister this, sister that, and you running and chasing behind white chicks, and then you trying to you trying to justify your motherfucking sexual deviance for the love and lust of white women. You want to say, oh, we fucking with white women because we getting them back. How you getting white men back with your fucking dick? Like, I'm confused. Like, how do you get white people back by fucking white women? You don't get them back by that. Like, are you fucking retarded? You know what I'm saying? But you're trying to justify that you just want to be on some freak shit. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of black women that need to be physically, mentally, and spiritually repaired behind some of the shit that we condone and put up with, and some of us actually even did. You know what I'm saying? We need to get with our black women and work with them before you run to another fucking race of women and talk about, oh, I'm getting them back. Fuck it, we gotta pay them back. How do you listen? So they raped black women, so you're getting white men back by fucking white women. How you getting them back? Are you fucking retarded? You know what I'm saying? When Emmett Till, when so many of our ancestors were murdered for even looking at a white woman, for even being accused of dealing with a white woman in any particular way. This is the point that I'm saying. So if you're standing next to me and you got a fucking uncle and you talking all this, you know, black power shit, and you fucking you, as soon as a white chick walk past and she just stop, because you know sometimes, right, you could be building with a dude and the chick walk past and he don't hear nothing you say. He just like this. And it's like, bruh, over here, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like at the end of the day, the way that some of these black dudes be going gaga over this white women, I can't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? I can't fuck with that. So I don't do that. I don't do that. So when I'm around black men and they start talking this white woman shit, or they got a white woman, I'm not fucking with you, because I don't see how we gonna repair our race of people dealing with fucking white people, period. You know what I'm saying? Of course, to a certain extent, we have to deal with them. But as far as laying with them and inviting them into our cipher of what we need to build, nah, keep them the fuck out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I had to go there real quick because that shit was pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't do that shit, and everybody know that shit, and I be getting stoned. Some people be like, yo, you fuck it, it's just pussy. Yo, listen, some pussy got AIDS, some pussy got syphilis, some pussy got all types of shit. All pussy ain't good pussy. You know what I'm saying? And for damn sure, I don't see the point of me fucking with a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And I never have. Yo, I don't even know any white girls. I never even hugged a white girl. And I say this shit all the time. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And people could get mad at me. I don't care, because it's just my preference. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that shit. So to Brother Malik,
no, I don't like white women.
No. No. What I wanted to ask you was, why are some Dominicans, and not that you could answer this because you don't come from that, but why some Dominicans, why some Cubans, why some Puerto Ricans, why are they so racist towards black people, and some of them be darker than us?
It's all, brother, it's all indoctrination. It's all self-hate. It's all to think you're better than the next man. I mean, it's like some, West Africans don't like Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaicans don't like Black Americans. Not saying all, but there's a lot that don't. And it's because of, one, what they were indoctrinated with. I mean, when you're told that God is white, you're inferior to that. You're lower, you're lesser, you're a savage, you have no knowledge of self, you look what you're wearing, look what you, whatever. This was indoctrination from the rip, but it's also media.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I went to Toronto, I got kicked out the cab. It was minus 10 degrees. I got kicked out the cab because when I opened my mouth, the cab driver was like, "Oh, you an American?" He was like, "You guys are fucking crazy. You like to kill people. Get the fuck out of my cab." So they see things on TV and violence is shown. It's the same way here. You have individuals that, they're real uppity, they're real bougie, and they think they better than their own people. It's not to say because you choose to live somewhere for whatever. It's not saying that, but it's when you have an attitude and a demeanor, and it's very obvious, it's very evident that you think you are superior, and you act very bougie and uppity to your own people. It's why does somebody think like that? Because they were indoctrinated. So this whole thing of indoctrination has encompassed all of us. And so then what it does is it puts us at odds with each other. It's a diversion tactic. About Trump and Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
Things can be used as diversion tactics to take the attention off what is important. It's like you look at some people that want to talk about aliens and Anunnakis all day long, and now they go to dimensions and all this crazy stuff.
Holy shit.
It's diversion tactics. You're taking somebody from Jesus or Allah or Yahweh and hellfire and heaven, but now you're saying Anunnakis and aliens and dimensions and planets You can't prove what you're talking about. Just as that person can't prove that there's a hell and a heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's diversion tactic. It's all a form of in some cases I believe it's aggressive. Sometimes I believe that some people do things passive aggressively, and sometimes I believe people don't even realize that they're doing it, but they're doing it. I had a guy yesterday. He recognized me from videos, and he's trying to tell me that human beings ultimately came from rocks.
What?
This guy wouldn't leave me alone. This guy would not leave me alone. This guy was talking to me forever, and I'm laughing.
Where were you?
And I actually I was in downtown Newark. This guy's like, yeah, humans came from animals, and animals came from plants, and plants came from rocks.
Okay.
And he's sitting there trying, so these knowledge, like how the 5% they refer to knowledge, they refer to it at times as a high explosive. And so knowledge sometimes is so much that people are like pigs. The pig does not digest its food.
Mm-hmm.
And people do not digest it and take what they're learning. They're not deciphering. They're not nothing. They're just regurgitating nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it sounds good. Because, oh, look what this person has. Oh, look how this person said it.
Look, listen,
it's
that shit right there was like some of the most far-fetched shit I heard probably today. I do want to say this to the Dominican people out there, to people who admit that your African ancestry, salute to you. For those who think that you're not African, you don't have any African roots, explain David Ortiz to me. Explain Sammy Sosa before he had to bleach his skin. What color was he? And not only that, let's not talk about the skin color. Let's talk about the hair texture. Who does the black women hair? Dominicans. You know why? Because they got the same hair texture and they got the same complexion as black women. Now, this is what I want to say to people. This is what I want to say to Puerto Ricans. This is what I want to say to Cubans. This is what I want to say to Dominicans and all Spanish-speaking people. Stop thinking you cool and you better than us because you speak the language of your motherfucking oppressor. That shit don't make you cool. You not better than nobody because you speak the language of your oppressor. Stop thinking you talking in secret and you talking about us and you bragging, oh, I speak Spanish. Only thing you are is somebody who is bragging that you speak the language of somebody who colonized, raped, murdered, and kill your fucking people. So get the fuck out of here with that shit. Not saying that English is better because that's the language of our oppressor also. But stop thinking that you're better than somebody because you speak Spanish. What you think about that, Malik?
I co-sign that 1,000,000,000%. 1,000,000,000% I co-sign that. I've had, I don't speak the best Spanish, and I've had, so-called Latino people come at me about it. So my rebuttal to them is basically what you said. My rebuttal to them is it's a slave language. The slave last name, just like that Virgin Mary, that Jesus Christ and all them saints you got is a slave religion. When you can speak Taino, Boricua, Carib, and Arawak, or Inca, or Mayan, or Aztec,
yeah,
then you got me. You say, but when you speak in Spanish, the only thing that I will say that I really do want to learn Spanish is to be able to reach out to the so-called Latino community for the purpose of communication. Because a lot of them can't speak English. They can't understand English. But then you have those that can, will only want to have conversation with you or hear what you got to say in Spanish.
Because they want to identify with Spanish,
right,
being their bond. Just like a Dominican and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans don't like each other, but their bond will be Spanish. Just like when you go into the penal system, you have the Spanish people, because they don't care what type of Spanish you are. It's just the language. They don't even give a fuck about your skin color. They are coded together based on language. And that shit is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker could be black as night, but the fact that he speaks Spanish, he's with the Spanish. And I'm like, how y'all let people classify you by your language? You know what I'm saying? You went into the penal system and you let them classify you by your language and not by the roots and the history of your people. That shit is fucked up. That's why I like Tego. Tego, you know, he say he's African and he speaks Spanish. He don't even speak English like that, but he'll say I'm African and he black as a motherfucker and he keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to say to people, like, you know, I love my Spanish people. I love my Spanish speaking people, but a lot of y'all are really, really fucking brainwashed, because a lot of y'all be talking about I'm Catholic and all that shit. How the fuck are you Catholic? That it was a religion given to you also. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is the thing, like, you know, people are so indoctrinated, like you said, and so many things was just given to them, and they taking it, and then we're in the age of information. You can learn for yourself and say, hold on, this shit is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This shit is bullshit, and that's the shit that killed me. You know what I'm saying? And you're Catholic, and you believe in saints and the 3 fucking kings, and we open our Christmas presents at 12 and all that shit. And I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here with all this shit. It's 2016, about to be 2017, and y'all still following them fucked up ass traditions. Don't you know them traditions is what got us fucked up now? Is you following traditions? When are you going to break the fucking cycle? Break the cycle. The cycle is what's keeping us in the way we are. You have to break the cycle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think. What do you think, Malik?
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% correct. I think that I really think that if you took Black Americans and so-called Latinos, I think it's harder to talk to them than it is to Black Americans.
Yeah.
I think it's way more difficult.
You know why? I think it, well, I'm gonna say why. Go ahead. You say why first, and I think why I think. Go ahead.
One, I would say because of tradition.
Yeah.
Like, they're very much concerned with what their family will think.
The culture.
They're very concerned what their friends will think. They don't want to look like a black sheep. They don't want to. Like, I'll give you an example. I have somebody here right now. He's Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He could co-sign this. Spanish, so-called Latino women do not like me. It's very rare that a so-called Latino woman will give me the time of day. It's Black American women, it's Caribbean women, or West African women that like me.
Wow.
I don't fit this this stereotype, I guess, because my eyebrows aren't all thin and I look like a backup or something. You know, like I'm not Papi Chulo enough, you know, or my name throws them off. How the hell you Cuban? Your name's Malik.
Yeah.
I mean, like that.
I never thought about that shit.
But then,
yeah.
Or, you know, I wear oils.
Yeah.
Most all Spanish wear clothes. You know what I mean? Spanish women smell that. Oh, yo, mira, you smell like a Muslim. You smell like one of the Morenos or whatever. Like, it's what it is, man. It is what it is. People are just trapped in a box, and people are scared to face reality with certain things because, you know, there's things in your lifestyle that would have to change.
Yeah, everything
concepts
everything that you grew up with. Yeah, and I think
most people, I was gonna say most people, period, really they're not really truth seekers like they so claim to be. They really aren't. They're really, people are really scared of change because, you know, they don't want to look like a hypocrite, but it's okay. You just say, you know, I'm a human being. I don't know everything. I made a mistake. I have to adjust this in my life. You know what I mean? It's see, people don't, and that's the problem with the conscious community.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to think they fucking know everything.
Word.
Everybody's a doctor. Everybody's a scholar. Everybody knows everything. Arrogance, ego, that's a downfall.
All right, let me keep it real with you real quick. This is what I've been seeing with dudes. Ego is the makeup of insecurity, because the insecure person puts on this front, which comes off very egotistical and arrogant because they're really, really insecure. Like, I'm secure in myself and what I do or whatever. I don't give a fuck if I do a live stream and I had the same shirt on fucking 4 live streams of different days. I don't have anything to prove. I'm secure. I don't have to say, what? I got mad shirts for my live streams. Fuck is y'all talking about? Oh, I got on this shirt. I got on that shirt. I don't have to do those things to prove myself. You are who you are by your ways and actions, not by what you say. And I feel like a lot of dudes with this bragging about the support of people, because I'm not, going to directly diss anybody, but I'm gonna say, when you brag about who you are and you give yourself titles that the people never gave you, I'm confused. Like, who said you was that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck said you was that? Like, we never said you was that. That's what you said you was. Who the fuck said you was that? You know what I'm saying? So if I go on here and I say, yo, I'm the fucking ruler of the rulers, if I start saying it enough, then people will start believing that I am that. But who the fuck said I was that? You understand what I'm saying? And that's the issue that the issue that I'm having with a lot of people. All this self-proclaimed shit. You know what I'm saying? Let people learn and find a way to love you, and then you're going to get these titles and you're going to get these things based off of your works and people loving you. What I'm seeing right now is just all this fucking madness and all this chaos. Now, I did laugh at some of the shit because it's funny as fuck, but I don't know. You ever see somebody cry and laugh at the same time? That's kind of like the reaction. Like, we're laughing at it, but at the same time, we like, damn, this shit's sad as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this shit's sad. Because like I said, I didn't know whether I was at a KKK rally or I was listening to NWA, how much fucking niggas I heard come out of people's mouth on a few live streams. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, I never claimed to be anything. I just always say that I'm a dude from the streets who has knowledge of self. I'm still a work in progress, as we all are. We're all a work in progress. But when you go under such titles of esteemed titles and you put yourself in certain class, you always have to be classy. And I'm seeing a lot of classless motherfuckers in the past few days. And that's the only thing the problem that I have, because, okay, what are the children? Can you show your children this? Because I'm not telling the children to watch me. I'm not promoting myself to children. You know what I'm saying? And then if I am in if I am within the vicinity of children, I know how to turn it down. I learn how to handle children with kid gloves. I learn how to talk amongst the children. How could some of these brothers call themselves that? How could some of these brothers say that they're for the children and they in the language? Who? I'm confused. I know you. I mean, a lot of us laugh behind the scenes, but I think a lot of us is not talking on the forefront about the shit show, and I think we're kind of tired of it. You know what I'm saying? I think we're kind of tired of it right now. You know, what do you think? You ain't hear nothing I said? Yo,
I think that I think I'm be honest with you. I think platforms really shouldn't be given to a lot of people. That's just my opinion. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. You're giving a platform to somebody who's saying something that is very just thing. And now you have people that's coming in. They take it as gospel, or it confuses people if they're not studying. It causes confusion. It's like, why give somebody a platform that is bullshit?
Word.
They bullshit. Why give them the platform? You know what I'm saying? Or, I just, what I do, I just don't listen to a lot of people. To be honest with you, I just don't.
Let me
an example, like,
go ahead.
if you had somebody on your program,
Uh-huh.
I'm probably not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not going to listen to somebody who says that Barack Obama's father is Malcolm X. That's just out the equation. There's nothing else to listen. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, dude. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I don't want to hear nothing about no aliens. I don't want to hear nothing about no Anunnakis. I don't want to hear nothing about no correction. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't want to hear nothing about you do this, you're sovereign, you're protected, this is what you got to do. I don't want to hear nothing about that. Because none of that shit is realistic at the end of the day. None of that stuff is tangible, and none of that is doing anything realistically for our people. It's just not. Now, like, if somebody chooses to be that and do that, okay, fine. But my problem is once you start speaking this to large crowds,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I have a problem with that. Because it's like, yo, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, really ask yourself, like, what you're saying, does it even make a bit of sense? Like, and I'll use this again, because see, this individual, some would say, oh, Malik, well, you're kind of doing the same thing that these other people are doing. No, there's a difference. The difference is that on principle is why I speak out against the Nuwapians.
Okay.
On principle is why Chuck Morgan speaks out against the Nuwapians. Is why Brother Wajahu speaks out against the Nuwapians. Is why the victims are coming out and speak. It's on principle. This is not Black power. This is not freedom and liberation. This is hypocrisy. And you're lying. Everything that comes out your mouth is a lie. When you watch that video, I stated to Prince and to the Nuwapians, I said, your father stated that he can levitate out of prison cells. Now, at this point in time that the mic was taken from me, and you hear Prince saying, what book was that? In the 1,257 books, what book is that? Well, 1,257 books, that's another lie. You're lying more to the people. Just because a book was written and maybe a paragraph or a picture was added in that book does not mean now that that's another book. So it's not all these books they claim they have. They don't have all these books. But you're right, Prince. If you're watching, you're right. It was not in a book. It was in a letter that your father wrote from prison that people have a hold of. This is what your father stated. So, we don't, I don't, and my whole thing is that, be honest with you, regardless of what happened with Seti, Pharaoh, and the squad, and, they didn't come, this, that, and the third, that day was ruined because the Nuwapians showed up. None of us wanted them there. In that room was maybe two people that was in support of the Nuwapians. It was a couple. Nobody. How are you going to come to this event, and you're going to want to talk about we want unity? When that scuffle broke out, they were out the building and on the street. They didn't assist in trying to stop the scuffle. None of us wanted it to happen, and nor was that incident as big as what people think it was.
Yeah, because they was mad at me talking about, oh, you cut out the scuffle. I didn't cut out shit. Everybody saw what I filmed. By the time that happened, I was already had stopped filming. Go ahead, though.
It was what that was, again, because this is the problem with the conscious community, is sincerity, integrity, being genuine. They came that day wanting question and answers, because that's what they do, as they used to call it in the Ansar days. They called it tabliqing. And that's actually an Arabic word, an Islamic term, trying to convert somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them dawah. They came there to push their agenda on people, to try to woo the people with, wow, look how they answered them questions. It was a tactic that they used. We didn't want them there. And how are you going to come there? And the presentation and York was absolutely 100% against Kemet for a large part of the time of that cult. But then all of a sudden, he's a reincarnated pharaoh from the 8th planet of the 19th galaxy. He spoke ill of Dr. Ben. He spoke ill of Dr. Clark. He called Dr. Ben a big lip demon. There was a point in time when they were in Ansars that they referred to the ancient Egyptians as jinns. Where's the apology? Let's start there. Where's the apology? Where is the apology to say, you know what? At least say, my father did make these comments, or our master teacher made these comments. However, we do not agree with what he said, and we want to extend an apology. There. So there is no, we wanted you here. We didn't want you here. So they opened up a can of worms by wanting to ask questions, and thus everybody sees what happened.
Yo, could you tell the people though?
And they can only run for so long.
Look, could you tell the people though? But no, it was unity in the building though, because I seen Hebrews building with Moors, building
Absolutely.
with. No, we all was together. Like
Yes,
everybody was together. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was together. I mean, I showed the whole room love. I showed the whole room love.
But you know, even to say, let's take it even a step further beyond a Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark or Nile civilization. You had Israelites there. You had RBG community there. You had Moors there. Where was the apology to them? Apology to the people, the hip hop community, such as yourself, that was present. All the things that this man has said about it. But you know what's going to be said? This is what's going to be said. That's Dr. York, and this is Prince York, or this is the Nuwapians, and you cannot pin this on them because some man did this. Well, here's the rebuttal to that, and this is the problem that people don't want to come to terms with. You cannot ever leave Dr. York out of the equation of a Prince York, of any Nuwapian, because everything that comes out their mouth is what Dr. York has said. So if there is no Dr. York, then there is no Nuwapians. There is no Ansars. There is no Nubian Islamic Hebrews. There is no Nuwapian nation of the Moors. None of that exists. None of that exists. York was on record one time saying that if the ancient Egyptians were not in the Bible, you know, basically you wouldn't have a Bible, you wouldn't have the Hebrews. Well, the tables have turned. If there is no Dr. York, then there is no Nuwapian teachings. So there are those of us, aside from myself, you know, that we do want to, because they're not going to debate us. I know for a fact that they are scared. So we've come to terms with the debate's not going to happen. But there are those of us that want to get this information out more to the public about what this man teaches, because when you study somebody like that, you begin to see, wow, there's signs of this with a lot of different people. This cult epidemic that comes over people. You know, it's not anything progressive. It's evolutionary. You know, child molestation. I don't know. Like how do we just allow that? How are we okay with that? How do we not talk about that? How do we not say, well, damn, like, I want to be a part of something, but you hold on to this man or these men or this group that's in support of pedophilia. And there's overwhelming evidence to show this. I mean, it's disgusting. So yeah, I was the way I was that day, and you saw Brother Daniela at the end, and you saw Black Panther, Brother Benjamin, the way he was. Because shit, man, we sick of it. You gotta go. You gotta go.
So your issues with Prince York is based on that they're still pushing the Nawapian thing.
Yeah, I don't hate. Yeah, how can I say this? Prince York didn't molest, from what I know. Prince York didn't rape, from what I know. But I will say that he definitely lies. He definitely lies. You know what I mean? And a lot of people fall for it, man. And so there's a lot of us that we're sick of it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want it. We don't think it's anything that should be promoted in any shape, form, or fashion. It's nothing that's beneficial. It's no way in hell that that's Black power. There's no way in hell that that is freedom and liberation for our people. If Brother Malcolm was here, I don't see, would Brother Malcolm be in support of this? You know that Khalid Muhammad wanted to debate Dr. York. That's a fact.
I remember that.
And Khalid Muhammad didn't like Dr. York. You know? So you think about that. You think about people that's really for the cause, that's really putting their life on the line for the people. I think it's very insulting and a smack and a spit in the face to those people and to people that's just not about that. Like, it's insulting. It's insulting. I mean, come on, we talking about the conscious community. We're talking about we want to uplift our people. And then we're going to come out and we're going to talk about some goddamn shams. We're going to talk about Pickle Man. We're going to talk about Bat Boy.
What the fuck
feature
is
from the
Pickle
Black
Man?
Lagoon. We're going to talk. I don't know, man. Something that the man talked about, man. He got a little drawing of him. You know, he's some being with warts or something, you know?
But let me ask you something.
How is any of these?
Yeah, but let me ask you something though. With the conscious community at the state that it's in right now, do you see anybody that's putting in work that's not about them making money?
That's not about making money?
That's not about them, how they're going to make money.
You're going to have to repeat the question. Kind of went in and out, and I don't want to.
Yeah, within the conscious community right now, and I don't want to make this you know, this is like a general statement. Who in the conscious community is not about them making money?
Oh, I mean, there's people that we don't see on video.
Okay.
You know, like this. See, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with making money. Because the reality is that we live in capitalism. You know, and unless you just don't want to survive, you know what I mean, and just be a hermit, or you just want to be, you know, just wander the land like a nomad or whatever, you know what I mean, you're going to have to deal with the economy. You're going to have to deal with money. I think the problem is that when that is the focal point and somebody really think, like when you hear people say, I got all these seats filled. I got all these seats filled. You ain't got nothing filled. I'm packing the room. Insincere. Lack of integrity. You're not genuine. It's not about, it's like saying, I have all these, it's not about quantity. It's about quality.
All right. Let me explain to you.
It's not about.
Yeah, let me explain to you why I asked that question. I don't mean to cut you, but let me explain why I asked that question. It is about, you're supposed to make money to live, but I don't think you're supposed to sell knowledge. I don't think knowledge should be for sale. That is very that's very devil. You know what I'm saying? If you really for the liberation of your people, why are you selling knowledge to people? Now, okay, cool. People could come to the lecture. That's cool. But if they come to the lecture, where's your book to sell? Sell a book. Don't sell a lecture with PowerPoints, because anybody could do that shit. That's just my honest opinion. Stop selling stuff. If you want people to really, really be free, why are you selling them their freedom? If your words are their freedom, why are you selling it to them? If you think what you're saying to them is going to help them be free, if you think what you're saying to them is going to uplift them, why are you selling it to them? Because that's in turn saying, if you don't have the money, you can't get it. Understand what I'm saying? When I say I'm selling a ticket, right? If you can't come, if you don't have the ticket money, then you don't get the knowledge. That's what I'm confused of. So if we want our people to, that's like me saying, all right, that's like me saying, me and Malik got a bill where we know the way to freedom for black people. But if you don't come on here and spend $10 for it, then you ain't gonna be free. So I want you to be free, but you got to pay for your freedom. That's not a way to uplift our people. If you really want to uplift our people, then give this shit to the people and sell merchandise, sell a book, sell something. I don't give a fuck if it's water, sell something. Stop saying that we want to help free our people, but then we're selling it. I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just confused by that. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, it does take times. It does take money to lecture. It does take money to rent the halls. But say that. Say I need to rent the hall. I need to do this. I need to do that. That costs money. So this is what your money is for. But when it's like, okay, I want your money, and then I got this and I got that from your money. What did you give the people? We know what you're going to gain. But what did you give the people? You didn't give them anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like going to a lecture now is going to a fucking rap concert. Fuck it. We might as well go see fucking Young Jeezy or somebody. Fuck it. At least you got a chance to dance and shit like that. You might have got a shorty to rub up on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, here it is. We got motherfuckers who's going up and giving speeches and saying, well, if you don't got no money, you can't fucking come. And it's like, so, but I thought you wanted me to survive. I thought you wanted me to be free. I thought that's what you wanted. Let's start finding things to sell people besides selling regurgitated knowledge. I'm getting tired of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting really tired of that shit. I think people should do free lectures. I think it should be a way for people to get into these halls. And it goes back to us owning our own buildings, us having capital for things. That's when we do fundraisers for shit. That's when we do certain things. Let people know that your money just funded this building. Your money just did this. Not your money got me booked up. Your money got me all around the country. Your money got this. Because what are you giving people? Really, what are you giving people? You cannot go up there and put up fucking slideshows and sit there and dictate the slideshow, because we seen that shit in like fucking third grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, sell a book. I'll buy a book. You know why? Because I know you sat down and you really, really put time and effort into writing. You had to publish. You had to do a lot of things. But this is something that I could walk away with and read later on. You know what I'm saying? I can read this. This is forever a book. How are you selling your word? And if a person goes to a lecture, and I love the lectures. I'm not trying to shit on nobody who does. I'm not trying to shit on nobody who charge for admittance. I'm not trying to do none of that. All I'm saying is that if you're going to do a lecture, at least and if you're going to do a lecture, right, and you're going to have people come in and see a lecture, Give out pen and paper. Give out books for the people. Start jotting shit down. Start, make it like a class. Stop just going up there just talking, because who the fuck is going to remember 4 hours of shit? On some real shit. Who's going to remember 4 hours of a fucking PowerPoint? Let's just keep it real. Motherfuckers be tired as a motherfucker. We done been to a few lectures and it's like, damn, what's this motherfucker wrap this shit up? I'm getting tired. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like when people come into the lectures, if you're going to charge people, at the end of the day, give them pen and paper. Say, yo, I need y'all to write down notes. At least, this part right here, you need to learn this, write this down, research this, give your facts, give your own, your where they can research it for themselves. That's teaching. Just standing in front of people talking and charging them. No, but I'd rather watch. Listen, like I said, that shit for me, I think the people are getting tired of that. So we got to find a way to switch it around to where people are not just being entertained. People are learning, so they can walk away from the lecture and say, look, he said right here, this, that, and the third. Let me go over here and research what he said, and then I could research this, and then I could show my homie right here what I learned. How the fuck are we supposed to remember all this shit if you doing a 7-hour fucking lecture and it's not on tape, and then you can't film, you can't take, you know what I'm saying? I think I don't know. What you think? I'm kind of off or what you think? Malik don't want to say nothing.
I think there's always, room for improvement with everything. As far as like, let's say people are selling videos, from, lectures or whatever. See, I really don't. I don't have an issue with anybody doing that, because I look at it like, there's other means of which they could be making money, that maybe not that smart, and sometimes these videos, especially before YouTube, I mean, that might have been in a completely different city or state, or it's just something, that was at one time only. So there's this, it's information, I don't know, me personally, I really don't have an issue with that. I mean, as long as they're not like ODing with the price. There's some people that go real bananas that I've seen, but if they wrote a book, I think that they should be able to sell their book and make money, because they put time and effort, energy into writing the book and everything. Me personally, if I knew that the person didn't have money, or they weren't in the best situation, I mean, something like that, I don't see nothing wrong. You give it to them for free or whatever.
Let me say this. Let me say this, Malik. Right? Let me say this. You go to a lecture, right? Lectures are dope. Lectures are needed. But what I'm saying, that the lecture should be structured like a class, opposed to just somebody standing in the room, in front of the room talking. People should be able to bring, they have to go and take notes. Because look at it like this, right? I go to a lecture. If the lecture is 4 hours, how am I supposed to remember a 4-hour lecture? But the vendors was there, and I got some good cheesecake, and I bought some shirts. What do you think I'm gonna remember? I bought a fucking shirt. I had a good piece of food. I had some cheesecake. Some of the things in the lecture I'm not gonna remember because it was 4 hours long.
Like this. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not absolutely disagreeing with you. Like when I was Muslim, and it was Arabic class, or it was class on whatever. If we didn't have a pen and paper, the imam would remind us and say, you know, that this is an etiquette, wanting to be a student of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, you want to take notes, you want to review your notes. You know, this is academic. You know what I mean? If you're really trying to study and be about that and learn, like, that's something you should do. So I think that if it was reminded to the people, you know, but yeah, I think it would be cool to have, you know what, we're gonna bring some notebooks and some pens.
And what they're doing wrong,
you know,
and look,
in case people
and Malik, what they're doing wrong, they're not selling the DVD of the lecture too. That's another thing. How could you do a lecture and that's it? So, like, let's say Dr. Umar, I think he's on a tour right now, right? He's been going to city. Every city that he touched, it should be a DVD. So at least, okay, I didn't get everything you said in front of you, right? I didn't get this. This is how this could be changed all around with the lecture thing. And some dudes are doing the DVD things, which is smart. Look, I didn't get what you said while I was in front of you. But when I went back and listened to the DVD, oh, I understand now. For example, if you go to a hip hop concert and the dude does a new song, you might not get the words to the new song because it's new on stage. But when you buy the record, you start saying, I heard that song at the concert. I loved it. Now where could I buy the record? How are people doing lectures and there's no DVDs for sales of the lecture? Some people are selling it. Salute to the ones that are, but many people aren't. That's what I'm saying. How could you be doing something and there is no way for people to look at it again? Or if you don't have any money, you just can't get it. Like, I don't know. Like, I just have a problem. Like what we're doing right now, we're speaking, we're building. This is free. You know what I'm saying? This is free. We're taking our time out. We don't have to be doing this. Now, is there a capital to be made off of it? YouTube gives some pennies. You know, but shit, I gotta pay Wi-Fi. I gotta pay. I bought this it's a brand new fucking computer. I wish I could see it and everything. So I understand that there is capital that needs to be made. But at the same time, I want people to learn more than anything. I want the dialogue that we're having to be big. For example, when you go to Brother Rich channel, you see Blue Pill and Red Pill building. There might be a time where they say something and you say, damn, I didn't know that. And then you can rewind that back and see it again and rewind it back. But if you see them in the lecture, there is no rewind. There is no way for you to have it embedded in your brain. I think that shit is getting kind of lost, some of the lectures. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want people to get it misconstrued that I'm shitting on the lectures. I'm just thinking that the way the lectures are being done now is people are starting to brag about it. I think that's why I'm saying it the most. People are bragging about doing lectures and taking your money. And why is that something to brag about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm confused. Like, when like, you know, I don't want to sing him out, but when Sadie say, I'm booked, bitch. What are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? If everybody is going around doing lectures and everybody is teaching, why are we still so fucked up? That's what I'm saying. So many teachers, who's learning? That's the thing about the lectures with me. Who's learning? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I could be wrong. I could, you know.
It's I mean, see, you more, you know, you're entirely more, I'm not, you know, I just off the bat, I know you're more business oriented than I am. So from that perspective, you know what I mean, there's a lot of things like that. I never really, like, with the exception of what that Sunday, like, I didn't have like a notepad or a pen with me. You know what I mean? So shit like that I typically do. And but when I go there, like, my whole thing is I'm just like on what's being presented. So a lot of other things is going around, like what you're talking about. A lot of stuff I haven't attention to a lot of that. Like, for example, like you saying a DVD being made the day of the event. Like I just that's just something I never really thought about, you know what I mean, or took notice of or whatever. But I mean what I have noticed is speaking engagements that I've gone to before in the past, you know, I've seen outlandish prices to get inside. You know what I mean?
And you be there going to
Outlandish
motherfucking
prices.
sleep.
This
like,
was like back in the,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit ain't.
now this shit was like back in the 90s, you know what I mean? For the amount of, you know, where you had to drive to get to the event, but they wanted to get inside the event, you know, to hear somebody speak or whatever. Sometimes because it was the speaker, that's what they requested. You know, it was little outlandish, you know, especially for something that really wasn't even all that interesting.
That's,
you know,
that's the point they're saying. You know, every Wednesday on Atlantic Avenue, they got a facility that's been there for a while, and it's a speaker every Wednesday who gives a free lecture. Every Wednesday, free lecture. Dr. Umar has been there, free lecture. A lot of people. It's free. It's no charge to get in. You just go in there, and what I do like about it is the end of the night, they ask for donations. But if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. But you still was able to come in and get some good word. Now, let me clarify some shit. I don't want to where people are thinking I'm saying that, yo, you got to do every lecture for free. But goddamn, you can't do no free lectures for the people. So when people don't have no money, they can't learn. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I think this knowledge that I know, listen, somebody told me, yo, you talk too much. You be teaching too much. Listen, what people don't understand, and I want people, this is what I want people to know about the hip hop community. A lot of shit you see in the hip hop community is my brainchild. From interviews, a lot of shit that's podcasting, all this shit comes from me. I am Doggie Diamonds from Forbes DVD. Of course, y'all know that I'm Doggie Diamonds from Doggie Diamonds TV, but I'm Doggie Diamonds from Forbes DVD. I'm Doggie Diamonds from the Come Up DVD. A lot of the shit that you see is my brainchild. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that you see is my DNA that I started. But I like the fact that the game is expanding and doing other shit. You understand what I'm saying? I like that because it helps a lot of shit grow. I'm not here to say, you know, I did this, I did that, you know, and the game has to grow so other people could make money. So what I'm saying is that the knowledge that I was able to give, and mind you, everything that I was able to give and put into this hip hop community, people were able to eat off it and sprout and grow and reinvent themselves and have a career. So what if we took the knowledge and did the same thing with the people and give it to the people, opposed to them worried about, you know, always lining our pocket? Because shit, at the end of the day, I'm supposed to be a fucking billionaire for all the shit that I did. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, nigga, you didn't start shit. And I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody, fuck you as a staff record label and a crew, nigga. Do your history. You know what I'm saying? This video did get off topic and shit. Let me get back on topic. Malik, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and people, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, even with the lectures, dudes got to start getting sponsors and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of that shit should be sponsored. I think a lot of that shit, you know, so it's not so much, you know, on the people, you know. And then again, in the defense, black people do fucking find money for all types of other shit. So I think people be like, fuck it, if they could spend it on this, they could spend it on that. But I think the problem is that with black people, we don't like to feel like we're being hustled. You know, we'll pay for some bum shit, but we won't pay for something, you know, that could help us. But Doggie, why do you care about Latinos denying that? Just asking. Well, the reason why I care about Latinos denying their African roots is because that's some of the division. We live amongst Latino people, you know, and the fact that we believe that we're different, and if the fact that they speak a certain language, that causes division. We need to start fucking finding more things that we have in common opposed to things that's dividing us, because we didn't divide us. The system of white supremacy divided us. So that's why I think we need to say, yo, okay, y'all, we all come from the same fucking place. You know, it's just like a train stop. You know what I'm saying? You never met a Latino who denied the African roots? Well, come to fucking New York City. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. So I need to go hit up Washington Heights. You know what? You absolutely right. Malik, we need to do that. Go around Washington Heights and go around, not in the cold though. It's cold as a motherfucker out here. You know what I'm saying? But Malik, anything you want to say before we get the fuck out of here?
Educate yourselves. Educate yourselves, and especially educate yourself globally, and stop confining yourself to where you may live at, and realize there's a world bigger than your street or your block or your borough or whatever. And you know, I think people should, really look into working on their character. You know what I mean? Like I tried tonight not to curse so much. Because I usually be cursing.
Don't worry, I made up for all the curses that you didn't say.
So I usually curse, and like I really thought about it. I was like, you know what, like I be getting annoyed with shit, so be cursing sometimes, but working on character and being more observant in your learnings, and realize that since we want to talk about our ancestors so much, they didn't deal with books, observation and participation. That was their teacher. And sometimes it's best to just shut your mouth and keep your ears open and your eyes open and just listen and watch your surroundings, your cipher. And people gotta stop falling for the okie doke, stop falling for things that's just absolutely not beneficial or tangible or realistic, or falling for diversion tactics. This is a lot of shit, man. Like educate yourselves. That's the best I can say. And try to be involved in your communities, whatever that is. Join an organization or work with an organization if you're not somebody who wants to join an organization, but work in your communities, what you feel is something that you're able to execute and do. Not everybody's going to, be able to do the same job. So whatever it is you can contribute. Hey, we want to talk about revolution, but the real revolution starts with yourself. If you have a family, then it's your family, and then it's your neighbors, it's the general public or whatever. So I think all of that's important, and all of that is, at the end of the day, what this is really about. If we really want unity, first, like Kwame Ture taught, we have to organize.
Yeah,
we have to organize, we have to unify after we organize, and then we got to mobilize, so it's not going to be an overnight thing. We really need to stop being romanticizing shit and living in this illusion like, yo, if we organize and we have this meeting like next month, we're going to be good. You know what I mean? Nah, we're talking about 1492, the Inquisitions, to the African slave trade, to almost 2017. We're talking about several hundred years of indoctrination that has to be eliminated. Like, it's if all white people went back to Europe, if all white people no longer existed, even think that capitalism, white supremacy will still not exist, because that's what we were indoctrinated with. And now we're going to take it out on each other. We're still going to have that mind frame. So this is going to take a very long process. A very long process. This shit ain't going to happen no time soon.
Yeah.
And I just really wish people, like, come to terms with that. And let's work on better on ourselves and working in our communities.
What I've been trying to do, but before we close out, what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to find the good in everybody. It's a lot of fuck shit going on, but I've been trying to, cause you know what, I think a lot of times too, we are really, really hard on our people. You know what I'm saying? I think we're very hard on our people. I think we need to start trying to find the good, and I think if we could erect the good out of people, then they'll start going towards their good and not their evil. Because I think a lot of times if we keep telling people how they're fucked up, you're fucked up, you're fucked up, I don't think that's making people change. I think it's making people become rebellious. And we got a lot of grown ass boys around us. So instead of them, working towards the good, they're going, they're becoming like rebellious. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Like, when you attack somebody, then they start trying to fend off attacks all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. We got a long way to go. That's why that's why we have these dialogues. You might not agree with everything I say. You might not agree with everything Malik says. You might not agree with what a lot of people say, but it's a way to respectfully disagree too. And I'm not even trying to disrespect anybody, with the things I say. I just like to open questions and shit. But anyway. Malik, we out of here, man.
All right, bro.
Yeah, so we do have an official interview dropping soon. So that's what it is. I'm gonna stay in the chat and fuck with y'all for a little while and shit, but I'm gonna go off live. We out of here. Peace.